created a sales pipeline, 13 emails, and 18 workflows. What took us 120 hours of work, we were able to do in less than 15 hours with Super.
My name's Italo. I'm the founder and CEO of Peddle. We're a HubSpot agency that focuses in cannabis, healthcare, and B2B SaaS. So this is the high wheel. So this is my client, Lazy Susan, and we use HubSpot to build their flywheel. So the presentation is called Building a Groundbreaking Cannabis Brand by Leveraging HubSpot to Remove Friction, Accelerate Sales, and Gather Feedback. So cannabis is a very true flywheel. You can't do digital advertising, you can't do search, you can't do social. So it's really important to do organic connections and attend events to connect with the cannabis industry. If you don't attend the same concerts they do, the same music, they'll think you're an narc. So it's really important to actually connect with this audience.
Sure. Cool.
They're also very skeptical, so they don't really typically give out emails or text message information. So when you get it, it's important to really utilize it and stay top of mind because they also have really bad memories. If you're wondering how I know this, my cannabis journey started a very long time ago in a place called high school. So I became an entrepreneur at 16. My first startup failed by 17. Apparently, it was frowned upon to distribute cannabis in high school markets. But we all encounter roadblocks in life. Roadblocks build character, and learning how to overcome them and follow rules proved to be fruitful in my career. So, as luck would have it, cannabis becomes legal. In 2010, I get accepted to Mass Challenge here in Boston, thank you. And when I moved here, cannabis had become decriminalized. I'm from North Carolina, we didn't know that was a thing. In 2015, I lived here again to work at a CEC, Cambridge Innovation Center, and cannabis had become fully legal. There were now dispensaries in Boston. When I moved back home to North Carolina in 2016, CBD became legal, so I knew it'd be not too far behind. So we got into the market early. And so Peddle is in a good place to take advantage of this market. So in walks Lazy Susan. They're in Colorado, a few years ahead of us for legality. So who is Lazy Susan? They're a DTC and B2B cannabis brand. They invented the spinning weed tray. So just like a Lazy Susan is your spinning spice rack, a Lazy Susan's your spinning weed tray. It cleans up your coffee table. So they realized that 50% of cannabis smokers identify as female, and there was no brand for female cannabis smokers. They started making pink rolling papers for breast cancer awareness, and they get sponsored on Jimmy Kimmel. So Lazy Susan is a $50 million in annual recurring revenue cannabis product company. So what do they need us for? I often ask myself the same thing every day, but they had a fractured flywheel. Their flywheel did not fly, it had a broken wing. So because of cannabis regulations, they have to use specific banking, specific payment integrations, and they have to use Avalara for tax documents. So if you're doing B2B business, every state has different tax documents for purchasing cannabis products, and the regulations are different, the tax documents different, the time for renewal is completely different. So it's really important to get these documents before every purchase. So we need to build this into their CRM, and they use HubSpot for B2B, they use WooCommerce for D2C, and all these other tools. We had to integrate into HubSpot to make HubSpot their source of truth. So this is why they hired us. There's a lot of fractures in the flywheel. I can't go over all of them today, so I'm gonna touch out on a couple of them. I'm gonna start with attract and go all the way through to light. So with the attract stage, event tracking is super important. Again, trade shows, concerts, this is how they get their business. So they had no way to track events in HubSpot, so we made a custom object that would do that for them. And we built the SOP in Super, and we embedded a scribe how to teach them how to clone these event forms. So whenever they had new events, they could see what contacts came from those events, which businesses, what deals, and how much revenue came from every event. That wasn't possible before this in HubSpot. We also use Associate, shout out to Happily, to associate the custom objects together. So this saves them about 15 hours of time for every event they have. They sometimes go to 2 to 4 events every month, so 40 to 80 hours on average of event time. And now they can also attribute revenue. The next thing we did was we integrated their tax forms. So they had no consistent sales process before this. We integrated it in. We made sure that their tax forms were a custom object, so it would trigger if that object existed or not. So there's process enforcement rules to say, hey, you can't sell this person unless their tax forms are updated. We built this in the sales pipeline. Of course, using Super. This saves them about 30 minutes to an hour per deal to do double data entry. They do about 12 deals a day, so it's about 360 hours a month of team time saved. Now here's the big thing we did for them. Whenever we were hired, they had no way of tracking payment in HubSpot because of the banking situation, so we had to build a custom integration to connect their Invoice Ninja to their HubSpot. So this means none of their deals had deal amounts, none of their deals had products or any information about the deal in HubSpot at all. They were just using it for emails and phone calls. There's no accurate data. We built the integration. It's a two-way data sync, maps deal stages in HubSpot to invoice statuses in Invoice Ninja, and syncs products back and forth throughout the pipeline. This is kind of a long video, so I'm kind of skip through it. But if you add products in HubSpot, they sync. If you add products in Invoice Ninja, they sync. They also use SKU Vault for inventory management, and so it also updates there as well. They had about 6,000 deals when we got them. 5,000 of them had no historic data. So they're able to sync all their data and KPIs all the way back to the beginning of their business. The other important thing here is because they had no deal or purchase trigger, there was no CSM flows. They couldn't send onboarding emails. They couldn't send repeat order emails, which is the biggest thing in their industry because they can't advertise, because there was no purchase trigger. So this allowed for all those things to happen. They also have like 6 different systems for inventory because of WooCommerce, HubSpot, Invoice Ninja. We built a form and built an SOP in Super to sync this across all databases. A product might have one name in one system, another name in another system. Now they can update it across all platforms. They use, they're a national company. They have distribution channels in different regions. Distributors have different licensings for their region. So whenever somebody purchases, it needs to be shipped to that region and the shipping's handled there. So we integrated ClickUp and added Super across all these platforms as well to make sure they could follow the process, and customer service tickets come into the right distributor channel. Because it's a big company, there's a ton of updates, so we use updates to make sure that everyone stays on track. If there's an update done in any of these SOPs, we push it across the system using Super updates. Here's some more of the process we've mapped out. The most important thing was that this was a really big success for them. It really drove their revenue and gave them accurate reporting. So when they launched a sister brand called Susan's Zone CBD Wellness, they asked us to duplicate the whole process again. So we were able to use Super portal replication. We replicated a sales pipeline, 13 emails, and 18 workflows. What took us 120 hours of work, we were able to do in less than 15 hours with Super. Thank you. So what did we learn? HubSpot is awesome, and it can be leveraged for the cannabis industry, despite what people say. HubSpot plays really well with others. These integrations were not rocket science. They're really easy to build. Enforcing rules is important. It changes behaviors. Take me, for example. Super is awesome. Not only does it enforce rules, but it also educates, updates, and enables our teams. Sometimes rules do change, like the cannabis industry, so Super has updates to help you stay on top of those as well. And wouldn't it be great if everyone at your company knew exactly what you knew, or if everyone at your company knew what your CEO knew? Well, now they know, thanks to Super.